by L5 in that final series, which was a great series. And now we're heading into Braxis, which will be their map pick. But they have the role swaps, the lack of practice against a team that's been so hungry this year and had their best performance ever this year on LAN at their last tournament. It's going to be a tough one, G-Clef.
Maybe because they didn't have so much time. They focused on this battleground.
Strategy
they
over
have
mechanics.
A crazy strategy and something like just laning and having Garrosh on their team and just picking one over and over. I can see that happening. This map, of course, I didn't play too much of Garrosh on this map especially, but
I think he serves a similar role as to what we saw on Battlefield of Eternity earlier, where in the 4-man, you do a lot with him whenever there's pick attempts, and if you're losing the wave clear battle, he becomes actually a lot stronger, because then that means that your opponents, in order to get their soak, are going to be near your cannon towers, so you can actually get the toss into the cannon towers. God, this music. I've been playing so much StarCraft Remastered. I think I've sank like 40 hours into the game, and it's just makes me feel like I'm playing the game.
I play way too many defense maps.
I've been playing only ladder, and let me tell you, I've probably got more gray hairs than someone twice my age at this point from how much StarCraft I've been playing. But
whoa, Genji
first
from
ban?
the beginning. Okay, that's how Tempest went, starting from when they went to the Eastern Class. I think they're just going to ban Genji out and see the reaction from Mighty and then try to go. Of course, the standard one here is still Ariel. Okay.
Okay, Ariel, 100% ban rate today in the first ban slot.
Oh, here we go. They know that Mighty. There has been a lot of information that Mighty has been practicing, especially Joker has been practicing Garrosh. So it's the first pick Garrosh. That's a big difference right now.
So TAS Uther, it's not the Ariel Uther, but can really be very strong with a Vala, can be strong with a Lunara. Liming will be taken up instantly. They don't want to have that counter against the Garrosh. They have the Greymane.
That's the thing. Also, a Cursed Bullet against Garrosh can be a big threat, so they want to grab every single counter to Garrosh at the same time.
Now that's a puzzling Malfurion ban, though. Perhaps they're worried about the silence, but Malfurion has not really seen a lot of play outside of Stitches for a long time, almost completely absent from the Eastern Clash, and it's been completely replaced by Rhaegar.
Yeah, but they took both supports and banned 2 supports, and Garrosh with the pair-up with the Root was pretty effective when I played some games, so I think that they're considering about the CC chain, not CC, just the CC pair-up with the toss there from Garrosh.
I feel like Rhaegar is way better in all situations, though, here, and unless they go triple support with the Rhaegar themselves, Tempest will be very happy to pick it. Rhaegar is the only support paired with Greymane that was not Uther in Eastern Clash every time by the Korean teams, no exceptions. And when you ban the Malfurion like this, I could see the pairing where you toss into the Root with the Wrecking Ball. I could see that, or you taunt into the Twilight Dream combo. That's something else that could be quite strong, but beyond that, the burst heals for the Greymane, and also in this case, the Garrosh, who is the coolest skin we've seen so far, is, I mean, I think it's the better option.
You need a mount on that too.
You need the synergy, yeah, definitely.
But on the other side, I don't think Tempest was even, of course, considering Malfurion. But on this map, and only on this battleground, there's also a chance of Morales coming out. I think with Greymane. Oh, so they're triple support!
Oh my god.
They are going crazy!
What is this? It's like also Rhaegar. I'm like, no!
Oh my goodness! Triple support! Guys, we have a triple support from Mighty.
I don't know about this one, G-Clef. I was making the jokes about Rhaegar earlier, but triple support Lunara means it would be very difficult to kill Lunara, but the problem with this is, so now the Malfurion ban makes a lot more sense, because silence is very strong against this. If you silence the supports, then the DPS dies immediately. Horrify is also strong against a comp like this and is very strong on this map, but you've already picked 2 DPSs on the side of Tempest, so you can't really grab, especially against this much healing. The slow damage coming out from Gul'dan is going to be difficult to pull off.
This is a dream.
I wonder if, like, I'm trying to think of other ways they could try to make this comp work. There's a lot of interrupt with the grenade there from Morales, so even an ETC pick is not going to be great against this. Maybe A Varian pick for the taunt. This is a rough situation. It's going to be Ragnaros is what they go for. Stukov is another way of silencing.
Silence comes in so handy against all the supports and the skills. Trying to save Lunara, I think that's going to lack all the skills coming out from saving Lunara from Mighty's side. Perfect pick.
Morales will also need a lot of protection when the Molten Core comes out. So sometimes you might see shields or burst heals used on Morales. Might be the targets for some of those. Sulfura's Smash is coming out as well. This is a weird draft. G-Clef, not 100% sure.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not 100% sure what to make of this yet, although I know you're very hyped. I'm leaning towards... I feel like this could work. Like, this is clearly very well planned by Mighty. I feel like we have to trust this. Also, Lava Wave, maybe? Oh, I don't know, man. All right, let's talk about it as we get into the game.
Yes.
Mighty has broken the meta. Triple support, Lunara, Illidan. Not on Warhead Junction for the Illidan, but on a map where the Hunt will get value in the solo lane here. Might be Metamorphosis, though, because he is never going to die with triple supports in the longer team fights. Let's go into Braxis and find out if this crazy draft is going to work out or if Tempest is going to shut it down here on Braxis Holdout. All right, we're in this game already. Joker on Tastar, BDG on Lunara. Good. Playing the Illidan. Nasong on Morales. Magi on Uther. It's a completely tankless composition.
And Tempest, similar to what we see every other time. Hide on Stukov, Honkona on Greymane, Lockdown on Liming, Sign on Garrosh, and H82 on Rag.
So this will be solo tank Garrosh as well. Good cannot be doing this, or he will just obviously die immediately. That's a bad start.
And
remember we talk about dive being bad against Garrosh. If you know your opponent has a comp like this, you probably don't want to be standing in the bush. So the sustain here means that Magi will literally just sit up at the front and tank these shots while Lunara does a ton of damage. Probably grab Nature's Culling later on if she wants to keep doing this, if that's part of the strategy here. But Tempest is doing about the same on the other side of things. Joker shields can buy some time. He's got good wave clear, but this is not a long-term plan. And as you can see on the top lane already, this Ford is taking damage faster than what Mighty can provide. Uther and Lunara versus a 4-man strong push is not going to be the better one.
And Sustain, of course, will go for Mighty. But Tempest knew this, that Tastar will be with Illidan on top, so they made the lane swap, and they want this to happen. They wanted this to happen, and luckily they got the kill from the beginning, and they are pushing this way pretty hard, even with the lack of sustain, because they have a lot more damage.
Well, Fort goes down here first because finally Illidan gets on top of it. The pick earlier made it a little bit tougher. Now they're going to start to force Tempest to Hearth Home.
Core race?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're losing the race, so they have to Hearth Home. Tempest can't actually core race this anymore. They send Greymane home. Well, they're responding so far not the greatest. They had the better trades there after they got the Illidan pick, but the longer this goes on, obviously with Illidan in this lane, as he wasn't here before. I mean, look at how much damage he could do. He's basically invulnerable. He has evade, and now they're going to see the collapse here. There's the silence. Still has the shields protection coming out from Morales. This is before the Morales rework, by the way. I think we'll be live in 2 weeks if I am not mistaken. But anyway, it's not that Morales rework. It's still Santa Mana Morales. And this ends up being, at the very end of things, a slight advantage to Mighty. But now they can't use what they were doing anymore. Like, this is no longer going to be a situation where they're trying to push down and race. It's going to go back to a more normal game.
Joker did not even have shift.
He used it already, yeah.
Okay, and he didn't have the fort, so that was, of course, a dangerous zone for himself. And Li Ming's new skin, I love it.
You're a big Li Ming fan.
Of course, everyone's a Li Ming fan. That's why they keep on making good skins.
You're certainly right about that.
Yes, that's sure.
Sign's going to get the toss off here. Magi gets caught. And I think the big question is, why be this aggressive when you're so reliant on these heals for a hyper carry like Lunara? Why be outside of lane? Why be on the enemy side of the map where you're going to be most vulnerable to those CCs, most vulnerable to the silence?
They're going into
Good's going to get Hyde.
Trading supports, but I think taking off getting Stukov was actually a bigger
Yeah, it definitely was.
for Mighty. And
Solo support versus triple support. When you get that support, it's a lot better.
Ooh, Lunara solo gets cocktail damage. Picks up. Nicely done by Onkano there.
Well, this is a bit crazy. I mean,
this game is crazy.
It's hard for me to even take this game seriously right now. Okay, so they got punished a few times by trying to invade the red side of the map with this comp that's so reliant on the supports to carry both the Illidan and Lunara, both of them different types of carries. Illidan kind of trying to be a tank in this comp because he's just going to have so much armor and so much healing. The safeguard coming in as well from Morales. The shields coming in from Tastar. If he does go Metamorphosis, it's going to be even better for that. So it's going to be so much more difficult to kill. So even though it's a tankless comp, quote-unquote, Good will serve as a tank in the front lines while Lunara does that damage. But they cannot be roaming with a little bit disjointed on the wrong side of the map with all of the toss potential there, the silence potential of Tempest, so they will get picked.
And for now, Tempest is letting Mighty to just rotate and trade beacons. So basically, no team has any percent, 2% only. But when it comes to the time after 10, Mighty, with Illidan having the hunt, very likely, they will start to rotate on this 2-lane map. So Tempest, before letting that happen, they want to push as far as possible because they have to right now. This is their moment.
They got the camp faster, so they have the lead on the push for right now. I think that'll pretty much be turned to even once Illidan gets on top of that fort, just like we saw before. It feels like deja vu what we're watching here. Illidan's here now. This fort's going to get done so quickly. But what they do now is the scariest part, because if they actually commit to this, here comes a Molten Core. No stun, but they're doing a little bit of damage. And look at the rotation up from Tempest. They're going to try to catch them because they knew they had the jump on them in terms of speed of clear. They get the beacons, and Mighty has to fight here now, or they're going to lose the objective. So
Tempest
good rotation.
Have to fight. Li Ming is not here, so all they have to do is get some percentage on the beacon. Li Ming was on the other side to stop the teammates from Mighty from going down and taking the bottom beacon too. So nice control of Tempest. They didn't have to fight.
Yeah.
Not really starting to fight. Good choice.
They have an opportunity to fight now, but if they don't fight, then the push continues bot lane, so they get value out of that.
That's right.
Here comes Good Stiven. He has the evasion active.
So much shield and healing coming out. They basically, it seems like no damage is going to Illidan.
But they keep the fort alive. Tempest keeps the fort alive. The bot push is continuing, and this comp is going to start to lose damage over time. It's going to start to have this big fall off. If they don't have 10 first, I don't think they can continue to snowball this as well as they're trying to. You can already see the semblance of this lack of rotation power on the side of Mighty because they didn't get this fort. Things are starting to fall apart a little bit. Sure, that bot push isn't deadly. I think it's just the remnants of that Raven down there, probably, with like maybe one Viking alive. Or sorry, one Goliath alive. But otherwise, it's, you know, it's going to eventually still push into the keep wall. Good. Gets tossed here. He's going to get the slow from the keep. Here's the grab here onto BDG as well. He's super low. If they had go for the throat, this would be a totally different story. So that's the scary thing. I remember post 10, these picks are going to be so much easier. And that keep wall is starting to take damage in the bot lane.
Camp has been pushing this entire time. That's doing a lot of work for Tempest, and Mighty actually, they want to get to 10 first. They want to start their own rotation with Illidan going with the hunt.
But when they leave, they lose the beacon, and that's a problem. It's going to build up some more percentage. This allows Tempest to free push the top lane. And I think Mighty needs to have a big advantage going into 10, not be the ones that get it second, or this could just totally snowball away from them.
So Tempest is playing smart. They're rotating slower intentionally because they want to move together. They want to have the slow rotations. And the Mighty, of course, looking for fights. Tempest does not have to because when they have the top camp.
Yeah, see, their rotations, their advantages are always working against Mighty, who's struggling to just 5-man with a triple support, using Good, using Lunara to win these fights, but Tempest is not taking them. They're backing off, kiting away, taking the fights when Illidan is isolated, and now this is where disaster strikes, because if they get Magi here, it's going to be level 10 against Mighty. Looks like they're not going to be able to pick up the kill, but look, the top camp, as you say, is pushing, and they just have this nice experienced lead now. It's the Hellbat camp, so it's not the most disastrous one. It will be finally cleared here, but the wall is running out of ammo, and they get the beacons.
But when they get the 100% against 2%, when they have the Zerg wave on the bottom, Mighty does not have the best wave clear. Tastar, of course, has somewhat of a good wave clear, but against a very 100% Zerg coming in.
Very 100%.
And they're level 9. Full level down already when they should be leading. And I'm pretty sure they thought they could lead with the rotation, with the early strong pickup with all the supports happening.
When they failed to get the top fort and couldn't deal with the camp in the bottom, I think that's when they lost this game. It's not over, quote unquote, yet, but I mean, how can they come back without 10?
Nice
with Lau losing a keep, the silence is a really good zone. They have the Tastar wave clear only really to deal with this. This keep is almost certainly going to go down. There's so much more poke on the side of Tempest. They have go for the throat to actually get the kills this time. Look, Nasong, how long is he really going to live in this situation? Certainly not very long. Trying to get the pick onto H82, gets a Sulfuris off, so it's a 2-for-1. Bottom line is they get the keep, and that's all they really need to do with this. BDG will survive.
But without Illidan on the front line doing all the aggro, Steam Drone is now available, but I'm very sad that this game could just end like this. Tempest just pushing out, of course. Illidan's still holding in. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the hunt, which they would love to have 2 minutes before. 2 minutes ago right now, and Tempest even having wave of force.
See, I was pretty sure this was going to be Metamorphosis too, because
they would have fight now then.
If he had the hunt, maybe he could have dealt with the camp, you know, in the bot, then come back in or something like that, but otherwise, I mean, he is supposed to be a tank, I guess. You know, he's a damage-dealing tank, hyper mobility, with the tanking power of all the armor, all the safeguard, and all the heals. So I actually like the Metamorphosis for team fighting. It's going to make it so difficult to kill him because they don't have proper silences. They only have Stukov's lurking arm.
Going for Ragnaros. There's a lot of the damage, but Sign Gyros can eat.
Oh,
no, he is.
But he's stuck inside, but he should be able to get out here easily, so well done. If they had this earlier, though, if they had this first, they wouldn't be down a keep, and they could try to just dominate the map now, rotating as a 5-man, and just ignore everything except the team fights. And if Tempest doesn't team fight them, they have the potential to just crush down structures so quickly. That's what they're doing exactly right now. If they are up a man, or even if they're even, then they just attack the structures, and then, or, you know, if Tempest comes to fight them, then they back away and take a fight in a better location. If they don't come to rush them, then they win the base trade, kind of. They win the keep war. But because they lost the early keep, this can only take them so far. They have to basically consistently win every team fight for the rest of the game.
And that's going to make it super tough when the beacon comes along, because they have to rotate when the beacon comes. They can get the camp and they can get the macro started, but when the beacon comes, they have to make better rotations, and oftentimes and all the time, they have to stay together.
All right, beacon summoning again. Tempest has the camp lead in the top lane, so this should be basically free bottom beacon. The top beacon's going to be the tough one. No hunt, remember, to split push. No hunt to take the beacon and then rejoin the team fight. It's going to be all about that carry fight with the stim drone, and let's see if they can make it happen again. They won that last fight. Silence so difficult to use against this mobile target of the Illidan. Lunara also with pretty great mobility with her leaping strike. So safe play from Mighty. They're going to take the bottom beacon slowly and carefully. They have to stay together as 5, as you say, basically. Tastar, the one exception, he has a great escape and will have the wave clear to slow down this push. But they need to collapse and fight soon. I think this is going to be their best moment. Even though they're down a talent tier, sometimes you just have to take fights like this. Tempest is away from home. They could get picked if the fight is good. Magi, though, is the first target.
Just toss and just have to use the heal for the armor, but there's also Leeming for the burst damage. If they start to get kills, there will be resets coming in, and Lockdown will be looking for more kills.
It's so difficult to get those kills against the supports, though. Does sneak this beacon, actually. That's pretty incredible that Lockdown himself is the one to do it. Leeming against this comp gets in there. And they are going to continue to channel this. This is the fight that Mighty needs to take. I think they're too timid to fight without having 13, but there's no massive spikes at 13 for Mighty. I feel like taking this fight would certainly be worth it. They cannot afford to lose another objective, especially with the keep already down and the top lane pushed so hard against them.
So right before Tempest is trying to start that from happening.
Yeah, they're up to 42 already.
They have the beacon control. I'd say rotational-wise, Tempest is doing so much better, and Mighty staying together is a good thing, but you have to read the minimap, how they are going to do the camp, how they want to do the rotations right after, when they make a move, what's their next move. I don't think Tempest Mighty is following that as well as Tempest right now.
It's a game of chicken, too, because it's so easy to get a pick if you're Mighty, if you get into a good position with the Archon burst damage, so much coming out from the Stim Drone. But at the same time, you don't want to overextend as Mighty because of the toss potential.
Lockdown and
super
even
low.
With the healing, I don't think it's enough.
Molten Core is too late. They're going to try to trap this, but Tempest is not on the same page, even though H82 went immediately into the Molten Core. Tempest was not there to try to punish. They were not there to try to lock anybody in, to get any stuns. So not only do they get picked, they waste the cooldown of the Molten Core. Huge pick there on the Lockdown, who just found himself caught. I guess he missed his teleport. Wasn't actually, I didn't quite catch exactly what happened.
He got the teleport but the poison damage is not more than 20%. The illusionist did not pop off, so he could not get the double teleport.
Okay.
So he was not safe enough.
Okay, because he ended up getting caught. He couldn't escape there. You see, this cap timing is actually really good for Mighty. Tempest is going to struggle to contest it. But all the while they do contest, the beacons tick up. They've already passed Tempest. It's 54 to 42. And the bot catapult pressure has not really been doing too much for them.
Okay, this is time. Maybe they can go a little bit more aggressive. And oh, here comes the Illidan gone. That's basically all the damage
That's half
removed.
their damage.
And if without Illidan, also BDG can't do too much damage because
Nagi lives though, and BDG is doing a decent amount, but he can't be going up like this alone. He's charging in.
No Divine
himself.
Shield, no Archon. So Tempest, I think they had better chances. I think they could have been a little bit more aggressive, try to get more picks, but that will be it because the Zerg wave will be pushing on the bottom. Tempest has a decent wave clear.
You know what? Like, Tempest is actually have the top lane shoved a lot, so that could damage the keep while this is happening. But the goal here for Mighty is to neutralize that bot keep pressure. Illidan has respawn. There's no shielding here for this, and there's only a little bit of poke on the side of Tempest, Gleaming, and Greymane to clear this.
And I think H82 has Molten Core available. I don't think he's used. I think he's not using it intentionally to actually try to get kills later on.
And as you say, without Illidan being here, Lunara is very risky to actually find damage. That's why when Illidan respawned, he had to go deal with that Zerg wave to the top. They almost lost the keep. Look at its health. Very, very low. Illidan had to go top after his respawn to deal with that, so they couldn't dive, which meant they couldn't force a fight they were looking for in order to get that bottom keep. So mission failed, essentially, here for Mighty. So that catapult pressure is going to start to mount against them now. They're still down in experience. This is a risky place for BDG to be, but risk may pay off.
BDG's going all the way. That's a bold move to go in, especially when
working out for him.
Good dives in from the side, has his shield available. So much damage onto Hyde. Maybe he will get picked off actually into the fray to save Hyde onto the other side. But without when he gets taunted, there's a perfect shield. The Molten Core on the other side, so they are onto the other side right now.
Yeah, Mighty's a long way away from home.
But
and
sustain-wise,
Kill Switch can do so much for this composition in terms of healing. They can actually even sustain here to stay alive. There's a toss onto Good. He's the target. Will he survive? The answer is no. And that's the first reset here for Lockdown, who's going in, gets another one. He's popping off onto Nasung. No way out for Morales here. BDG is looking for the pick. Has the heals from Uther, but there's just too much coming out. Bio Kill Switch goes off again. Hyde heals everybody up, and that should actually be game over here for Mighty. BG is going to be the next to fall. He bounces his way away for a while, but with the keep down already, they should just be able to march towards core.
After watching 4 games of Garrosh, I think I made my decision. Garrosh is top tier. Top tier.
Are you ready to make that decision already?
Yes, I am ready to make that decision already.
I mean,
Garrosh is top tier right now in the tank.
Let's analyze as this core goes down. We're going to see the last minute defense play by, but that's really quick. There goes the taunt. Good is going to get hit here as well. He goes down. Magi is very low. No, he's not. He was about to be, but he walked away. They're just going to go for the core instead.
Yes, they are going for the core. They do have enough damage. They do not have any damage from Mighty to actually cancel anything from happening, and the core goes down. Game 1 goes to Tempest.
All right, so this means 4-0 Garrosh. However, let's talk about what happened with the Garrosh comps. Against RRR, sure, it was number 2 against number 7 in terms of HGC Korea rankings. RRR just barely getting into this league in the first place, not even successful in Crucible. So 3-0 with Garrosh in that case with its Hooligans playstyle.
Yes.
And also, RRR drafting Dive into the Garrosh. And then on this map, you have 2 hyper carries with triple support into the Garrosh, a comp that's never really seen competitive play in Korea ever on its first time. And Garrosh, look, he looks strong, but can we really say he's top tier yet? I think we still have to wait a little bit until we see like a more competitive draft against 2 strong teams. I think we should wait a little bit on that.